More innovative, better, more reliable. Welcome to SIPROTEC Compact protective devices of the latest generation. Through impressive innovations and numerous detailed improvements, SIPROTEC Compact devices give you considerably more freedom. No wonder we always had your requirements in mind during the development of the device concept.
We, as switchgear manufacturers, must above all save time. Time during planning, during configuration, and during installation. For time, as you well know, is money, even that of our customer. If our customer wishes changes, then it's important for us to be able to react quickly, flexibly, and cost-effectively. To bring it to a point, the devices we use should bring us and our customer a decisive competitive edge by using the newest and most flexible technology at the same time.
Saving time and money and still remaining flexible, with SIPROTEC Compact it's not a problem. In spite of a space-saving 1/6 housing, the 7SJ80 and the 7SK80 device types have a multitude of interfaces for current and voltage connections, for process interfacing, but also for state-of-the-art communication, for example via Ethernet and USB. The modular design and an intelligent installation technology make for stress-free and time-saving system integration. For the slottable terminal blocks enable you to wire and test the system before you mount the devices. If required, you adapt the devices to different network neutral point groundings by simply changing the current terminal block. And not only that, to adapt a device to new requirements, you now change the binary thresholds and the secondary nominal current per software, with just a few mouse clicks and faster than ever before. Forget about opening the device and the tiresome rearrangement of jumpers. But that's not all.
In industry, we must do one thing above all else: produce cost effectively. With that, our requirements are already clearly outlined. We need a powerful and reliable energy supply with perfect protective mechanisms that keeps the production running with minimum downtimes. And we require a clear operating concept that enables us a smooth operation management, either by software and remote transmission, but also, of course, directly on site. For often, it simply has to be quick.
To be able to react speedily and still be on the safe side is no contradiction for SIPROTEC Compact. More than 700,000 installed SIPROTEC relays worldwide stand for extensive experience from which the new compact devices also profit. An example for this is the user-friendliness. In spite of the slim front, a SIPROTEC Compact device has everything that you need for transparent operator control on site. A 6-line illuminated display for showing information in plain text. Status LEDs for a targeted process feedback. Function keys with which you execute frequently required operating steps simply by pressing a button. And keys for controlling equipment. You handle such tasks quite easily with DIGSI4, the innovative tool for operating all SIPROTEC protection and field control devices from Siemens. By the way, with DIGSI4, you carry out all necessary actions, for example, the parameterization, and then you transfer your settings from the PC into the device.
As energy suppliers, we also expect logical and simple operator control of protection devices in the medium voltage range. But we also place particular value on experience, which in our opinion guarantees the extremely important reliability during operation. In case of a problem, we need to be able to exchange a device quickly and effortlessly. And it is also important to us that we get support from the manufacturer long after we have made the purchase. In summary, for us, continuous and long-term benefits are absolutely crucial.
When partner and product are to be reliable, you should choose Siemens and SIPROTEC Compact. For more than 20 years, Siemens has been producing numerical protective devices and is the market leader in this field worldwide. Of all relays available on the market, our devices have the highest MTBF. That is why, without hesitation, we can offer you a particularly long warranty period and offer you a repair service that is available long after it is announced that a product will be discontinued. Just like all our products, we have developed SIPROTEC Compact on the basis of international standards and have once again incorporated innovative and future-oriented ideas in the process. Example terminal technique. This enables you to exchange devices without rewiring and without the danger of open secondary circuits, for we have simply integrated the current transformers in the terminals. You see, SIPROTEC Compact offers a lot of practically oriented functions in a small space that cover a multitude of requirements, yours as well to be sure. If you are now interested in details, then by all means stay tuned and learn more about the design of the devices. Become familiar with the easy operation and the various communication possibilities, and find out about the two device versions, 7SJ80 for feeder protection and 7SK80 for motor protection. Welcome to SIPROTEC Compact. Allow yourself this freedom. Make the switch now to IEDs of the newest generation, simply and easily. With their 1/6 housing, the SIPROTEC Compact devices are compatible to the prevailing 600 series. Many things, however, are now realized in a better and more innovative way. Let's have a look at the back of the device and see what's happened there. You'll notice that we're placing our bet on a plug-in terminal technique. A definite advantage for you because you can pull out the complete terminal block and do the wiring easily in the rack. You then connect the terminal block to the device, mount this with only 4 screws, and you've already achieved your goal. This intelligent installation solution is also helpful when you want to remove the device from the rack in order to exchange it or to add communication modules. The positive side effect, wiring errors during reinstallation are virtually impossible. Make the most of the modular design and order your device according to your needs. Additional I/O cards expand the device with inputs and outputs, and in this way also bring new functionality on board, for example, the possibility of temperature recording with the 7SK80. You can order individual communication modules later on and easily swap them yourself. It's so simple, it's done quickly and saves you money. In addition to an Ethernet interface, the communication modules of the SIPROTEC 4 device series are available for your selection. Let's have another look at the back of the device, in particular at the current terminals. These are really an innovation because the current transformers are now directly integrated in the terminals. With this, you save time when you swap a device because you no longer have to separate the connection between the current transformer of the device and the primary current transformer, and that without the danger of open secondary circuits. With one of the next topics, we will show you how this design innovation also has a positive effect on the functional scope. Now let's take a closer look at the front design. The main element is a 12-piece keypad. When used in combination with 4 other keys, you have everything you need to easily and quickly navigate through menus and information. These are shown in a generously sized display and in a multitude of languages, for example in future also in Chinese. 2 LEDs give you information about the current device operating status. 8 others, to the left of the keypad, provide fast and selected process feedback. You yourself define which information is to be assigned to these 8 LEDs. You affix the labeling for the LEDs onto the inside and outside of a movable flap. This is, at the same time, a protection for the keyboard. For fast data transfer on site, use the USB port. This is easily accessible from the front and well protected by a plastic cover. The 2 keys off and on for direct control of equipment and a reset key for the LEDs make the operator front complete. And before we forget, the battery required to save different information in case of an auxiliary supply failure is now directly accessible from the front. You can exchange this battery without having to dismantle the device. Smooth on-site operation directly at the device is a must for most users. That is why SIPROTEC Compact now also has a large display and an additional numeric keypad. When combined with the arrow keys, this solution is clearly superior to pure navigation keys. For with a numeric keypad, you control individual menus directly, since each entry is referenced with a number. That way, you're already one ahead of the rest when locating a parameter. Our second example also shows it. Even with simple tasks, such as modifying a parameter value, you achieve your goal considerably faster. By the way, you can assign an individual function to each key of the numeric block, which you then call directly. Practical in order to jump directly to a certain submenu with only one keystroke, for example. That's how easy operator control can be, but it gets even better. With Dixie 4, it's even easier to operate and parameterize your device, and you then also have all the functionality of the SIPROTEC V4. You query measured values and indications, evaluate fault records or control equipment, all that and much more, for example, directly from your desk. All you need is a PC with one of the Windows operating systems, 2000, XP or Vista. Then you have all the requirements you need to be able to use Dixie 4. So what are you waiting for? Grab your PC, install Dixie 4 and get going. Dixie 4 lets you get a grip on all your SIPROTEC devices, even those that may already have been in use for a few years. All you need for this is found in one single software package. Create system topologies. Parameterize, operate, and monitor devices. Evaluate fault records. Route information. Configure interlocks and logic functions. You then transfer all data from the PC into the device, for example, via direct USB connection. Through the appropriate USB port on the front of the device, you can take care of this quickly and without a lot of effort. With a USB connection as an operator interface, we are on top of things. With it, you connect to every modern notebook. The traditional RS-232 interface, on the other hand, often leaves you up in the air. Besides, with USB, you can count on a higher data transfer rate at the same time. The performance comparison shows data is transferred significantly faster than with RS-232, a time benefit that you shouldn't pass up on. Even with remote control, we're going with the times. RS-232 out, Ethernet in. That way, you can remotely operate your device safely and quickly with DIGSI-4. By using a switch, you can even communicate with several devices alternately via one and the same PC, for example, also with your office computer that is integrated in your existing network. With DIGSI-4, you define an IP address for each device and follow the usual steps for establishing a connection, and there you have it. You're operating the SIPROTEC compact devices through an Ethernet connection. By the way, via the Ethernet interface, you can also simultaneously connect two thermal boxes to a device for temperature sensing. An additional switch makes this possible. The measured values are transferred along with the other data over the same network. More information on this later. Plug-in boards ensure sufficient flexibility for system communication. For that purpose, the SIPROTEC 4 communication modules are available for your selection. These are available in various optical and electrical versions and therefore almost always compatible with the individual system configuration. With the selection of the transmission protocol, you also have a free hand, for SIPROTEC Compact supports all commonly used protocol standards, of course even the most current IEC 61850 standard, in conjunction with Ethernet. With this diversity, a data exchange to existing and future systems is easily possible, and you're always on the safe side. Oh, and by the way, if you can dispense with the interfacing to a higher level station, why don't you rather use a suitable communication module for service purposes? That way, you operate the device via RS-485, for example, while this receives data from thermal boxes via the Ethernet connection. Now let us use a few schematic examples to summarize the various communication possibilities you get. In the simplest case, you operate a SIPROTEC compact device via a direct connection to a PC. Or you could do this, for example, from your office and utilize the telephone line in combination with modems. If you want to communicate with several SIPROTEC compact devices, then connect them to a RS-485 bus. Alternatively, you use a star coupler. Of course, you can also integrate SIPROTEC devices from the V3, V4, or 600 series anytime into the communication structure shown. And thanks to Profibus DP and IEC 6870-5-103, the connection to an energy automation system such as CCAM PAS is also ensured. We've saved the best for last. You communicate via Ethernet in conjunction with IEC 61850, putting you at the cutting edge of communication. As an example, you see a ring structure with two switches and optical EN100 modules for the SIPROTEC devices. With the SIPROTEC 7SJ80, we offer you considerably more than just a simple overcurrent time protection. You use this relay for cable protection in medium voltage networks. As an addition to a transformer differential protection, the 7SJ80 fulfills all the tasks of a backup protection. And the implementation of a simple busbar protection is also no problem. In the following, we will show you several special features that you really should know about. How about, for example, the dual-stage unbalanced load protection? It detects on the primary side of the transformer 1- and 2-phase faults that occur on the secondary side. Or why don't you use this function to detect damaged overhead lines? For this purpose, you simply have to set the pickup threshold to well below nominal current, and voila, the relay provides you with the necessary information. With the overcurrent time protection, we offer you what you expect and much more. Take the example of the non-directional overcurrent time protection. Instead of the usual 2-stage, this function comes with 3 stages for phase and ground. With the additional 3rd stage, the 7SJ80 is able to detect high current spikes in which the transformers could be saturated. A quick evaluation of the instantaneous value makes it possible. In addition to the definite time characteristic, there are of course also the inverse time characteristics. With various curves according to ANSI and IEC, we are sure to fulfill your individual requirements as well. With two-sided supply and with parallel or ring feeders, the directional information is an absolute must in case of a failure. For that reason, the 7SJ80's functional scope also has a directional overcurrent time protection function. And that is something really new when you consider the size of the housing. For up until now, this function could not be realized in devices with a 1/6 housing. One look at the measuring principle provides the reason. The directional overcurrent time protection function also requires the voltage in addition to the current, and that for all 3 phases, you understand. But up until now, there wasn't any room in the device housing for the 3 voltage transformers needed for this. The innovative solution, we have taken the transformers for the 3 phase currents and the ground current out of the housing and integrated them directly in the terminals. This clears space on the baseboard for the required voltage transformers and immediately makes a directional overcurrent time protection in the compact of 1/6 housing possible. As an example of a feeder protection in an industrial environment, we would like to present a concept for the protection of a double circuit line. This concept is mainly used for the interruption-free supply of important consumers without significant backfeed. The 7SJ80 on the feeder side of the in-feed transformer uses the non-directional overcurrent time protection function for this. This protects against phase and ground faults on the feeder. If the feeder is a cable, you activate the thermal overload function. This provides an alarm to the control center when an overload condition arises. This first warning level still leaves sufficient time to induce operational corrective measures. In the 7SJ80 at the opposite end of the feeder, you activate the directional overcurrent time protection function. In the event of faults on the feeder, this function trips without delay. The ultimate fault clearance is obtained when the non-directional overcurrent time protection at the feeding station trips with a time delay. The SIPROTEC 7SK80 has its focus on monitoring motors with ratings from 100 to 500 kilowatts. Its function mix, however, also makes it suitable as a backup protection for transformers, bus bars, or overhead lines. The 7SK80 has all the important standard functions, and with several special features, it even surpasses many larger devices. One such feature is the load jam protection, for example. This protects the motor should it be blocked through overload and trips quicker than the thermal overload function. Let's have a look at the protection concept for a motor of the middle rating range in a high-resistance grounded network. You only need one single relay of the type 7SK80 for this. The diverse protection and monitoring functions of SIPROTEC Compact makes it possible. Several functions concentrate on protection against overheating, for which there can be different causes. One is a long startup phase due to a high load. The starting time supervision then prevents the permitted temperatures from being exceeded. If a motor is switched on and off too frequently within a short period of time, this also has an unfavorable effect on the thermal behavior. The restart inhibit then steps in before it gets too hot. And last but not least, the locked rotor function reacts when the rotor is blocked. Through its short disconnecting time, it prevents the motor from overheating. During normal operation, the thermal overload protection detects the motor's load cycles. This function takes into consideration heating and cooling off with separate time constants. That way, the motor capacity is utilized to the maximum. When the motor load is too low, on the other hand, the speed can increase and the mechanical parts, for example of pumps or conveyor belts, can be overstressed. The undercurrent monitoring sounds the alarm in time. In the case of a ground fault, extremely small currents flow. The 7SK80 therefore doesn't measure the ground current via the summation connection of the three-phase current transformers. An additional core balanced current transformer supplies considerably better results here. For a precise ground fault detection, the 7SK80 uses the zero sequence voltage from the broken delta winding of the bus bar voltage transformer as a further criterion. The instantaneous overcurrent time protection of the relay trips without delay in the event of short circuits. To detect broken phase conductors and voltage asymmetry in the system, the 7SK80 measures the negative sequence component of the load current. With SIPROTEC Compact, you have the monitoring of different motor temperatures completely in your grasp and can always stay really cool yourself. For an economical supplementary PCB, which you can order with your 7SK80, expands it with interfaces for 5 temperature sensors. As a rule, this is sufficient for simpler applications in which you, for example, would like to redundantly record the bearing temperatures with 2 sensors each. With a further one, you measure the ambient temperature. If you need more than 5 measuring points, you can alternatively use 1 or 2 thermal boxes to sense the values of a maximum of 12 measured points that way. These are transmitted via an RS485 interface to the 7SK80 and processed there. Better yet, use a switch to connect the modules to the Ethernet interface, which you can also use for the remote operation with Dixie4 at the same time. In that way, you transport temperature data easily, for example, via an already existing network. And you keep the system interface available for a connection to a higher level station.
Siemens.